Fatal Frame is a survival horror game for the PlayStation 2 made by a Japanese studio called Tecmo. It was a niche title at that time with low sales figures. Nowadays, the series has a cult following, with people saying that the first two games in the series are the most scariest games ever made. Stick with this review to find out. In Fatal Frame, you play as Miku, a young girl trying to find her brother Mafayu. Mafayu went on to search for his mentor Takamine and his associates in the Himuro Mansion. You, Miku, go on to Himuro Mansion to search for your brother. You'll find out that Takamine and his crew were killed by the wandering ghosts there, and you'll find out about the dark ritual that happened in the Himuro Mansion. There was a chosen shrine maiden that was killed using ropes around her limbs, and those ropes were later used to seal a specific kind of gate. That's pretty much as I'm comfortable talking about the story without treading into spoiler territory.
Is this the Holy Mirror? It's just a piece of it.
There's a small segment in the game where you can play with Miku's brother, but it's a very small portion of the game. The story itself is good, in my opinion. So, very quickly in the game you'll meet ghosts, a variety of them, and your only weapon in the game is a camera obscura to be precise. You kill ghosts by taking pictures of them, hence the name Fatal Frame. It seems simple, but there's a fair bit of complexity here. While you're in finder mode, aka camera mode, aiming your camera at a ghost charges up mystical power. The higher the charge, the higher the damage dealt when you finally take a shot. You can even use it defensively when a ghost comes at you and you take a picture of him at the last moment. You move slowly while in camera mode and the perspective shifts to first person. It can be tricky sometimes when a ghost suddenly disappears and reappears behind your back. There's also different types of film for your camera. The basic film at your disposal is Type 14 film, and it's the most common film you'll find in the game. It has weak damage output, but it's almost infinite. The other films have more mystical power, aka damage output, but are more rare to find. Also, the Type 14 film can be refilled at save points in the game, making it almost infinite. I usually used Type 14 film for normal ghosts, Type 37 for stronger ghosts, and the other two very rare films for bosses. There are also special functions that can be added to your camera which you can purchase by spending points you've earned by defeating ghosts. In addition to that, you can even upgrade basic camera parameters like range, speed, and maximum value of mystical powers. Overall, I wasn't expecting an upgrade system in a horror game from the PlayStation 2 era, but it's there. I'd say the combat is fun and engaging. Sure, the controls are a bit clunky, but it's forgivable considering this is a PlayStation 2 game. I found it hard to get used to the analog layout. While in camera mode, you use the left analog stick to move the camera and the right one to move yourself. I found it to be confusing and I tried different control types, but I was never able to get past this problem. But after a while you do get used to it, and it becomes natural. You'll be solving puzzles in this game like in any good survival horror game, and they are extremely fun. I really like the puzzles in this game. None is too hard, but like I said, they are fun and very creepy sometimes. Especially the one where you have to put ropes around the maiden statue. Brilliant. This game is motherfucking scary. It's a mix of Silent Hill atmosphere and the jump scares of Resident Evil, but it works. The atmosphere is filled with tension and uneasiness. The Himuro Mansion is a perfect location for this. The moans and screams of ghosts are very unnerving. The stuff that you'll see is sometimes grotesque. The Himuro Mansion is one giant maze, kinda like what the police station or the mansion in Resident Evil were. You solve a certain puzzle and you get a certain item that unlocks a previously locked door. that type of affair. But less convoluted, I would say. You're constantly discovering new locations in the game. By the end of the game, you'll know the Himuro Mansion's ins and outs. And there's a map in case you get lost. This is honestly the most scary and disturbing game I've ever played. I don't own a PlayStation 2 system anymore, so I resorted to emulation. I used PCSX2 emulator and it did work well with this game. But you do need to run this game in software mode because some puzzles won't work properly while in hardware mode. I ran the game in software mode and pretty much everything worked okay. And it's the closest thing to replicating PlayStation 2 graphics. But there are problems. Near the end of the game, there's a certain cutscene, and after it ends, the game stucks. And it's just that one cutscene. It will always stuck at the ending of that cutscene. The solution is to skip the cutscene. Also, the end boss battle is a very serious problem. When you press a camera button, the game just freezes. It's a very serious problem. There is no solution to this problem. Sometimes it will freeze and sometimes it won't. The solution is to use quick save and quick load. That's pretty much it. Other than those two problems, the game ran fine. Graphically speaking, Fatal Frame looks dated by today's standards, but it's a PlayStation 2 game from 2002. This is a very dark game, so it hides its low poly textures very well. I think it holds up very well. You judge for yourself. So, should you play Fatal Frame? Absolutely, it's a masterpiece. I'm a big fan of horror games, and I honestly think Fatal Frame is better than Silent Hill 2. That should give you an idea of how much this game is fucking good. The atmosphere, the Himuro Mansion, the creepy rituals, puzzles, creepy and disturbing ghosts, it all makes for a brilliant survival horror game. I'm sorry that I haven't played this on the PlayStation 2 back in the day, but I'm sure glad I did play it now. It's a fucking masterpiece. If I had to give a score to this game, I would give it 9.6 out of 10.